And we are live.
Liberty, fraternity, equality, mon ami, oui, oui. It's the one, the only V, the Guerrilla Economist, coming to you live with my main man, CJ, the master of the flux capacitor. And it is now Monday, I don't even know what day it is, CJ, the 7th, 2017.
Eighth?
And
Close.
8th,
The
something
eighth.
like that. I lose track of time because I work in so many damn time zones. I don't even know what time it is anymore. But anyway, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new week. And with that being said, guys, you can follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Mini. Oh, I'm hearing feedback, CJ.
Oh,
Hey, CJ, I'm hearing myself.
yeah, close
I
out
think
your
you gotta.
YouTube.
What?
Close out
Oh,
your YouTube.
that's what it is. Okay, cool. This is why I have you on board, bro. I'll
That's
be
right,
like
man.
totally confused. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? I'm hearing myself. What's going on, CJ? Okay. All right, let's take it from the top. Let's do it live. Anyway, guys, check us out on Rogue Money at the Rogue Money and RogueMoney.net, Rogue Money Facebook, and also check out our sponsors. If you're in some sort of a debt scenario or you just need a better credit score, check out myfreedomnow.us. Myfreedomnow.us. Get the credit score you deserve. Clean up the debt. Get rid of all that old crap. And if you want to be able to get yourself financially free, that's the way to do it. Myfreedomnow.us. With that being said, CJ, man, where do we begin, bro?
Well, I think we start with
Macron.
Maricon,
Maricon.
Maricon and the French
Maricon has one.
elections.
A family member aptly named him Maricon. It's a perfect name for Macron. I was calling him Macroni, but Maricon sounds better. So the Maricon has won France. Okay, so au revoir, France. Vous avez terminé. Goodbye, France. You are finished. That is the exact translation. Muslims, Euro kleptocrats, jihadists, and they all celebrate the arrival of Francois Hollande 2.0. Maricon, who is the youngest kleptocrat to win a presidency, is being celebrated worldwide by all the other kleptocrats who are absolutely, just elated that their Euro scam will continue for a few more years until they have pilfered the entire wealth on the European continent and left everybody in absolute squalor. CJ, where do we start with this story, man?
Well, in terms of the election, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Macron was a big globalist. He pushed for, more refugees, pushed to stay in the EU.
Yep.
And we're going to have London Paul, and he's going to detail out, his thoughts on it. But I agree exactly what you said, V. I think it's just kicking that proverbial can down the road, and we all know that the EU is basically collapsing among itself. So now, Angela Merkel not only runs Germany, she gets to run France as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And now she has a wonderful lackey with. Oh, hold on one second. I'm hearing crap again. Going. Okay. Yeah. So you know, the thing that's crucial here, and I've said this before. I wrote about this. My God, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't. I'm not even sure. And London Paul talked about it as well. Germany holds 90% of French debt. So if a Brexit were to happen, it not only would, because the first thing what a Le Pen administration would do is they would leave the EU, they will get the heck out of the euro, immediately reinstitute the franc, and then default on the debt. That's exactly what they do, and that was the fear of the kleptocrats, especially the Angela Merkel power structure that's in Germany. If France leaves, Germany's done, and if Germany's done, the euro's done. So their whole entire little scheme, their entire kleptocratic kingdom, their old kleptocratic scheme will begin to fall apart very rapidly. And so they couldn't allow it to go. And it's amazing, CJ, that this guy supposedly won 65% of the votes. And London Paul was, he on his Twitter, he said it best. He says, this guy supposedly won 65% of the votes, but there's, mass rioting everywhere. There's riots going on in many places in France because of this, Maricon who's won. So this is a quite an incredible thing, CJ. And again, we've seen videographic evidence of this, where people were mailed ballots, where they will get two ballots, one supposed to be for her and one supposed to be for him. But instead, what they're getting is just a ballot. I'm sorry, they'll get two ballots, but those two ballots, CJ, would both be for Macroni, aka the Maricon, aka Macron.
Right. Yeah. And I knew when they released it right away, they started planting the seed early. They're like, "Oh, listen, this is the worst turnout ever in French election, which possibly it could have been." And then they completely just turn around and said, and it appears that Macron is leading by, he's at 60% already, and this is with only 30% of the vote coming in. And then miraculously, V, at the end of it, oh yeah, he won by double digits. I purposely think, V, that it made this look. They didn't want it to be close, right? There's no way they could have an outcome with it being close. Then there'd be calls for, let's take a look at this, let's audit the results and everything, versus just saying that it was an overwhelmingly just smashing win. So I'm not buying those results at all.
No, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I mean, the French are done. Anybody who's voted for Macron, Emmanuel Maricon Macron, anybody who voted for Maricon Macron, you're brain dead. You're brain dead. It's the end of France. It's done. I mean, more refugees, more chaos, more crisis, more debt, more austerity. The French are about to lose everything. I mean, look how much they protested Hollande. Look how much they protested, the absolute disfavor they had towards Hollande. So they're going to vote in his finance minister? I mean, are you kidding me? Unreal, man.
Yeah, so what's it doing to gold, V, with the outcome of the election?
Well, not surprisingly, CJ, they were rigging the hell out of the market. They were rigging the hell that the price would shoot up, okay, if Marine Le Pen would win. And they priced it for a smashdown if Maricon Macron won. And Macron won, so what happened? Well, here's what happened. The priced-in dump occurred. And you're talking about a $300 million panic dump in gold futures. Nobody dumps gold like that. This is BS. Again, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what's really going on, please be aware of the fact that what is occurring, guys, with these paper futures is actually just paper changing hands. There's no real physical gold that's being taken delivery of. None of that is happening. So, of course, just like clockwork, when the markets and the insiders knew that Macron is going to be a shoo-in, that it's going to be a guarantee, because the vote fraud was so damn rampant, the rigging is so damn rampant, then you know what? They did what they did, and they priced it into the market, and that is what you're seeing today, CJ.
Boom. Boom.
Which brings us to the other big news, and this is why the Macron, situation is also going to be pivotal here, especially with the situation in Syria, CJ. We're talking about the Syria de-escalation zones. But the billion-trillion-dollar question is, man, who's going to enforce it?
Yeah, that's the thing. So here you have an agreement. Russia, Iran, Turkey, to create these 4 de-escalation zones, of which Syria has not signed on to this 100%. I know on Wednesday that Vladimir Putin has an unscheduled meeting with the Turkish president. Help me out here, V. Erdogan meeting with him, obviously try to line things up. So Russia's stating, give us about 30 days to get these, quote unquote 4 de-escalation zones set up. But who's going to manage it? Is it going to be the Syrian forces? Is it going to be the Russian forces? They've asked that these are going to be no-fly zones for the U.S. We've already, heard some rumors regarding the U.S. saying that they're not going to honor that. So yeah, V. So again, how's this going to come about? I mean, yes, I definitely applaud this effort to do this for the Syrian people, to get the people lined up on where they need to be, and hopefully they can get this resolved quickly.
Absolutely, man. This is key and vital. But the end of the day, boys and girls, one of the things that's not mentioned is that it is China's influence in this. Because one of the questions that was posed by a journalist during a Chinese Foreign Ministry press briefing, which has happened just this last week on Thursday, where the question was, according to the Syrian opposition, which basically, U.S.-backed cronies, Russia proposed the creation of 4 safe zones across Syria. It's not yet clear which international forces will facilitate the security in these 4 zones. Sources said that Algeria, Egypt, and United Arab Emirates, as well as the BRICS, are under consideration. Since China is a BRICS member, will China be ready to participate in international forces to ensure the safety of these 4 zones if Russia asks Beijing to do so? The answer the Chinese give is very key. He says, as a principle, the Chinese side supports efforts conducive to lowering tensions in Syria, consolidating ceasefire and cessation of violence there, and politically resolving the Syrian issue. The Chinese side also believes that Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity must be upheld and respected. So once again, you are seeing the Sino-Russian nexus walking in lockstep, one supporting the other, one weighing on the other, one keeping the other strong. It is a powerful alliance. China provides the economic and financial power. Russia provides the military might. China also provides some high-end, bleeding-edge, technology as well. It's a powerful combination and an alliance the world has never, ever seen at this magnitude. So that's what's going to ensure the safe zones that are going to be in Syria.
Bingo.
So the next thing, my man, anti-war U.S. dismission ban on aircraft.
Yeah, we can just, again,
I love it.
I just kind of tied these all, together in terms of, what's happening in Syria. Again, just the fact that, the U.S. has allegedly already stated that basically that, that they're not going to honor those no-fly zones regarding the safe zones, that they can't fly over. If the U.S. had their way, they would probably have implemented a complete, no-fly zone with the U.S., dominating the airspace. But obviously that's not going to happen. That's such a Iraq move and everything, and then the alignment of we're seeing some of the chessboard, the players move around. So Putin is hosting Erdogan, this week, and probably obviously discuss that corridor of Syria on what that's going to look like, and needing some some concentrated efforts with them to help. And then obviously Trump is going to be leaving soon to go on his first overseas, and I think he's going to be meeting in Saudi Arabia later on this week. So we're seeing all these things come together. It's going to be very, very interesting the next few weeks to see what happens. V.
The whole thing with you look at U.S. leaders, especially these who are basically a bunch of sheep-dipped military-industrial complex holdouts, right? You look at these establishment military complex guys; they're idiots. They're absolute morons, man. I mean, there's the $1 trillion question here, guys. Is if you are a general and you're recruited by the Pentagon to head up, I don't know, special forces, head up this, that, and the other, there's two key things that are severely lacking in U.S. military leadership. Okay? There are two main things. Number one is decisiveness. Okay? There's no longer any decisiveness within the United States military thinking whatsoever, CJ. None. Number two is an outdated, obsolete, and archaic worldview that simply does not fit reality. So you take those two factors together, okay? This archaic, outdated, obsolete view of reality and the world situation as it is today. Basically, the brains to look at it properly. And then the lack of decisiveness. And what you have is military bungles and disasters all throughout the world. Look at the latest, CJ, on the U.S.'s strategy about leaving Afghanistan. They're never going to leave. That's the strategy. We're always going to be there. Why? Because the drug companies need the opium. And so do the illegal narcotics.
Yep.
That's why we're never leaving Afghanistan. How are we going to counter marijuana? Well, we counted with the opium that we were able to regrow because of the fact we deposed the Taliban in a specific region. We're able to regrow the opioids and smuggle it back in, not only for drug companies, but also for drug cartels. Win-win. Think about that. Okay, now they want to dismiss the ban on. They're going to decide where they have military. It's all fun and games until your stupid planes. And I pray to God, and I hope that no pilot gets hurt. They probably eject before it happens. I hope that they fly over a stupid quote unquote stealth aircraft that's invisible over to Syria. Either an F-22 or even better, CJ. How about an F-35? Oh, I would love to see this, but I want again the pilot to eject before it happens.
Right, sure.
And have that piece of junk flying turd be blown out of the air by an S-300 or an S-400. And when that happens, all of a sudden the U.S. is going to start respecting the airspace. That's what's going to happen there, CJ. Ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it is. And then our favorite family's back in the news, V as well.
Oh,
So,
Cushy, what's going on with Cushy?
well, kind of like we stated a month ago, V, that I'm sure that Ivanka's a great person, and she's back in the news with the just absolute horrendous comments with Bill Maher. He was on his show and talked about incest with Ivanka and down just completely out of line. But again, when you go back to what we specifically stated, V, was the fact that don't put them in these positions that are going to be give them ammunition. Don't put them in harm's way. Now here we have breaking news again that the Kushner family, the sister of Jared, when they hold these big investor meetings, in particular coordinated efforts with Chinese investors. And basically what they do is in terms of bringing all that money in, investment money in from China. The brochure for the actual event was saying, invest in $500,000. You'll be able to immigrate to United States. So within certain immigration laws, it allows the event that Chinese investors, that they invest money to build infrastructure, to have real estate, whatever, that they're allowed so many visas, so many of this visa program. So basically now we have a pay to play program that the Kushners are actively involved with, and that particular program is called the EB-5 Immigrant Investor Visa Program, which allows foreign investors to invest in U.S. projects, create jobs, and then apply to immigrate. And this has been used by Trump and the Kushner business families. So this was hosted Saturday at the Ritz-Carlton. Chinese investors were advised to invest sooner rather than later in case the rules change, and specifically in regards to immigration laws. The woman identified as Jared's sister was believed to be Nicole Kushner, who was involved in the family business. Now, there were certain reporters there at the time. However, once the meeting started, they kind of ushered them out quickly, and when they were asked why were they being pushed out, they said, well, we don't necessarily want this to be in the news.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. See, this is the kind of bullshit that needs to be cracked down. This kid is a PR nightmare. He's a PR nightmare. Just a lightning rod for all sorts of negative news, man. And and the fact they're doing this is so slimy. It's so sleazy. It's so sleazy, CJ.
Yep.
But it just shows how much of a sleazeball Jared Kushner is, bro.
Yeah, and Trump doesn't need this. We're one of the first to report on this. If you don't think that this is going to be in the MSM the next few days, and they're going to hammer down consistently on Trump, because of it, and specifically you talk about the alignment with China, you talk about the influence of money with the Kushner play. Is the investment money getting them influence to the White House? All these things that could have just been easily avoided if Ivanka and Kushner were sitting back in New York, with their families, enjoying their business, running their day-to-day business, versus bringing them in the inner circle. V.
It's the most stupidest move I could even think of. It's absolutely dumb, and it's crazy.
But we do have some good news to report on as well, V.
What?
Yes, we reported on this a few months ago in regards to this huge child pornography website called Playpen, and it looks
Playpen?
like it's called Playpen. Yeah, that was the name of the
actual. Good.
Yeah, it was a yeah. Yeah,
I'm glad they got arrested.
Yeah,
okay.
this was on the dark web, and obviously you had to use torrents to access the website. So now it appears that Stephen Chase, 50 of Naples, who created the Playpen website.
Stephen Chase should have his genitals put on a desk and smashed with a hammer repeatedly.
So because of the efforts of the FBI, and it was pretty interesting. Basically, what they do with this technology is they're able to duplicate the servers in the website where people think that they're going to the actual website, but they're not. They're actually going to a monitoring that. But because of this, they were able to prosecute 25 in the U.S. 51 based upon actual abusers able to rescue. 55 children were successfully rescued because of this. 296 sexually exploited children were identified, and they're trying to efforts to rescue them internationally. In the U.S. alone, there were 350 arrests, and international 548 because of this crackdown on this.
That's awesome, and I think and more arrests will be coming because of this as they trace more of these disgusting pieces of human filth. I'm telling you right now, dude. CJ, I can't, dude. Like I like if I knew that some dude was a pedophile, I'm gonna kill you. Like I'm literally going to beat you with an inch. I will make sure that you are so physically harmed that you will not even be able to lift an arm, a leg, a finger. I will make sure that you spend the rest of your life on a wheelchair, eating food through a tube and pooping in a bag. Because that's the life pedophiles deserve. They deserve no life, but they deserve to be tortured. Death is too friendly for them, CJ. Death is too gracious for them. You need to like paralyze them from the waist down and watch them rot.
Exactly.
Anyway, can't stand these days.
Yeah, so there's some wins. Again, for our listeners, we're seeing some great signs. There's still some wins, and we want to continue to share those. Dude,
the best part, CJ, is 25 producers. Okay, of child pornography were prosecuted. That's friggin' awesome, bro. I mean, think about it, because it's that 25 producers that were arrested. That's going to lead to more stings because those producers are the guys that have the big networks.
Right. Yeah. Once they get those computers and take a look at see where, who's submitting the pictures, who's doing all this, going to lead to a lot more arrests. So this was pretty big crackdown on this. So this whole playpen, which I can't believe they even titled that, just amazing. These people.
I would like to visit Stephen W. Chase in a prison. I would like to be alone with him for 5 minutes, CJ. All I need is 5 minutes in a room with Mr. Stephen Playpen. And I'll invite him to the Gorilla Playpen and see what I'll do to him. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's it, V. We got London Paul coming up at 10 a.m., so I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then we have amazing week lined up with some great interviews. We already had two confirmed interviews that will make RogueMoney.net exclusives. I've got Friday's guests lined up. Yeah, so it's going to be another great week at Rogue Money. Some great articles up at RogueMoney.net. James, the Russian analyst, shared the information in regards to there were some hacked emails that came out right before the election in French, and they went after one of our previous guests, Jack Pasiabic. They went specifically targeting him, saying, "Well, why is he releasing this information?" And just kind of a smear campaign against him. But go check that out, RogueMoney.net.
Absolutely. And with that being said, guys, we're at the end of the broadcast. Check it out, RogueMoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at @TheRogueMoney, and subscribe and share. Make sure you hit that stupid notification bell so you'll be alerted every time a new show is posted. And also check out our sponsors. If you just need a better credit score, or you have the debt collectors after you, or you're just sick of paying minimum payments, you just want to get the hell out. Check out myfreedomnow.us. Myfreedomnow.us. Let those guys kick the